Do you have your AI policy ready and polished in your syllabus or in some course materials? No. Well, what are you waiting for? We all need to get this done. And I know it's moving so fast and so quick, but we're here to help you today to talk exactly about that. So, Mark, thank you for joining me for this special AI edition on the Teaching Test Kitchen. We have to be talking about this. I mean, I don't know about your school, but at my university, we're having meetings about this. We're getting messages about it. We're getting resources too, suggested language, sample policies, as well as the opportunity to workshop and have discussions. We have a new teaching institute, so I've had lots of great opportunities for conversations about how we can talk to students about Gen AI, and then we also need to figure out how are we going to incorporate this into our own courses. So how has it been for you? How long have you had your AI policy in place?
Since last summer, I actually put my AI policy together through a workshop that the university's Faculty Development Center put together because AI is coming. The robot overlords are out for our jobs. No, just kidding. The robot
On that note,
overlords
let
are
me
here
hide
to,
the graphics.
are here to help. But yeah, my university is going all in on generative AI. They've actually just rolled out Titan GPT because our mascot or our slogans and whatever, the Cal State Fullerton Titans. And so they are actually have an embedded version or something of Chat GPT, the 4.0 model called Titan GPT that students and faculty can use to get comfortable with AI because like I said, it's here. It's not coming, it's here, and
I
it's not
was
going to go away.
I was in a workshop the other day, and our university is divided into several different schools. One of those schools is the Rutgers Business School. And the business school actually saw the special announcement, this press release about how they have a relationship with Google to help prepare our business teaching faculty as well as the students on AI. So I agree with you. I use it, and I also
I do too.
teach my students how to use it, but we're all learning as we go. It's not, hey, I've got all this experience and I'm imparting this wisdom to my students. No, actually, I'm just trying to keep up here too myself.
Yeah, I think if we look at AI as a tool, not as a replacement. Granted, it is going to replace some functions. It's not going to replace critical thinking skills. AI can't do critical thinking, at least not yet. But it can be very, very useful as a time-saving measure as well. Like you said, you use AI, I use AI.
That's the
It
main
helps
thing.
me
I want it to
it
help
helps
me
me
save
draft
time.
letters. I'm finding new ways to use AI.
It,
It's amazing what AI can do.
yeah, it's going to benefit our lives in so many ways and so many exciting ways. So I'm having conversations with my students. Just how do you feel? What do you think? Which ones are you using? Like, we're just having open dialogues about this stuff in the beginning of the semester. But our focus for today is our course policies on AI use. The reason I like having a conversation with students about it too is I want their buy-in. I want their contribution. I mean, I know how I feel about it too, but I was surprised last semester to learn that one of my students was completely against using it and
Hmm.
wanted no part of it. And so I think having that conversation is really important. But then I do have some written context in my syllabus. It's not as fully developed as it needs to be. You have a much more developed one. So I'm going to share my screen, Mark, so we could see exactly your policy and then talk us through this a bit. Here we go.
Yeah, it's about a page and a third or so. And so I crafted my AI policy to try to help students understand how they can use AI responsibly and ethically, and how it can improve their work, and also give them ideas that maybe they didn't think about before, like for instance, brainstorming. Okay. I do encourage AI tools like Titan GPT slash Chat GPT, Google Bard, Microsoft Copilot, those kinds of things can help with their creativity, exploring new ideas, and deepening their understanding of course materials.
Yep.
They can use generative AI to quiz themselves over chapter topics. And you can program the AI to say, hey, look, I want you to help me review for this anatomy and physiology exam or something along those lines. But we also have to remember that within our policies, that students understand the AI is not perfect. And in programming, back when I was a youngster, we had the saying of garbage in, garbage out.
Mm-hmm.
So it will only return what you ask it to return. It's not going to imply what you meant to ask it. So you have to it's another skill set actually, how to craft a AI prompt. So that's what the second paragraph is with the critical AI literacy may generate content, or it can generate content that appears reliable, but it's often inaccurate, biased, or incomplete or generic. Understanding these limitations is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
Using AI irresponsibly in your future career could lead to errors or get you fired, because we want to make sure that students are developing the skills to make them employable.
Right.
And once they get into those jobs, to do well in those jobs. So I think where students tend to get in trouble is that they don't have enough context with the material yet to understand that the output is wrong, or it's close, but somebody that knows more about it can read it and go, oh, that's you don't even know what you're talking about, kind of thing. For instance, I've had some students use AI to complete assignments, and they copied it word for word and included the first sentence that says, here's how you might do this. Whatever that first sentence is that the AI spits out, they just copy and paste it straight. I'm like, come on, if you're going to do this, at least do it a little bit more creatively, kind of thing. But it's real easy to tell when they've used AI versus students who haven't.
And I think that we're able to make those assertions once we get to know our students, because in the beginning of the semester, we have no idea what their writing skills are, what their writing levels are. But as we get to know them and see their style and all of that, but also because we're using it frequently ourselves. Like in my public speaking class, I could tell a student had used it significantly because there were so many jokes built into it that it wasn't that particular person's humor style. And that's okay. But that was a learning moment too, to say, look, you still have to make this content yours. Like in my class, people can use AI. I want us to explore it together. So I have them share the prompts, share their thoughts on the prompts. Did this work well? Are you happy with this tool? Did it give you good results? What does good results mean? Did it help you? Did it save you time? Did it get you thinking? Like, having them process these things. But you said something earlier on, and the way I explained it in my class is that AI is your assistant. It is not the boss. Yep. You are the boss. So
yep.
And that's the way that I like to use it too. Like, it's not replacing me, but I love it for preventing blank page syndrome. I love it for creative input. Yep. I love it. I have this idea. How can I make this a reality? Or I want to do this activity with my students. Can you give me some variations that would be applicable for a virtual setting with a lot of introverted students? You know, it just creates so many good ideas. But your syllabus, your AI policy in your syllabus is comprehensive. And this is one of the goals that I have. So if you're a professor and you're watching this and you're like, I've got nothing, use Mark as an example, not so much me because I'm not there yet, but definitely start to have those conversations. But look, you can think, okay, AI literacy, this is a big term, right? I also like to talk about digital citizenship, being a good citizen when it comes to our digital content. In some ways that's about AI, but in other ways it's also about the way we handle digital content in a virtual classroom, and we have access to people's constant stream of video or their information that they share, things like that that are important to include on here. Also, I see that you're also talking about, where to go, accountability and citation is the next section that you have here. So I haven't even formalized that. So that's a good conversation to have too.
Yeah, but there's one caveat to the accountability and citation. You have to make sure students understand that it's still not okay to copy word for word what ChatGPT spit out and just cite it.
Yeah, and why would you want to? To me, this is the piece, like, students have to get this in their head. It's basically saying, you and I, Mark, we're having a meeting and I'm like, hey, Mark, I have this idea. Then whatever you say, I just take it and say, I said it. So to me, that's the unethical part. So just make it yours, process it, think about it, work it through to make it sound like you. And there are also ways to help tools like ChatGPT and many others help you get to know your style so that it feels more personal and relevant and authentic to you than some random prompt that's, okay, this is not my style. This is not my humor. This is not the way that I communicate.
Yeah, I've also found that just writing the prompts themselves helps me think through what it is that I'm trying to do. Sometimes I have trouble, as you can tell just by my talking, I stumble over my words sometimes because my brain's running so freaking fast that I have trouble formulating it, and trying to slow down and type things out kind of helps force me to slow my brain down and say, okay, here, I'm trying to say this. And then I put it into Chat GPT and it spits it out. I'm like, okay, now we're getting closer, and I can modify that and get it to where this is what I wanted to do. But instead of mulling over it for 30 minutes, I could spend 5 minutes on it and free up more time. And so it helps me to express myself better. And I want students to be able to do that as well. If they also have ADHD and have trouble like I do with runaway brain, it may help them cogitate a little bit more on what it is that they're trying to say, and make and be more effective communicators.
Total side note, just pause this conversation for 1 second. I'm so excited because one of my past public speaking students is doing at the Rutgers TEDx her speech on the invisible struggle of ADHD in women and girls. I'm so excited. She brought me on board to help her get ready. I'm so excited. So total side note, since you mentioned ADHD, that got me thinking about that. But let's keep going here, Mark, because I know time is of the essence. So you talk about rationale, and then you also talk about consequences for misuse. So I'm curious, what are the consequences for misuse in your class? And of course, you would have had to define what is misuse.
Yeah, and so I do define it, including submitting AI generated work without proper disclosure, reliance on AI to the detriment of your original contributions, will be treated as a violation of academic integrity. Consequences may include reduced grades, a failing grade for the assignment or course, or referral to academic integrity committee.
Yeah, we have that as well.
That's the boilerplate stuff that I have to put in there, university requirements type of thing, to make sure academic integrity is there and we understand. But in reality, it's going to be a conversation the first time.
Yeah,
and
same,
say, hey,
same
look,
for me.
We need to talk about this. It looks like you are depending completely on AI. What's the rationale behind this? I take the innocent until proven guilty type of approach and say, look, there's a reason that you felt like you needed to use AI to copy and paste. You turned it in at 11:58 p.m. when it's due at 11:59. Did you get busy in life? Did you just not understand the assignment or what you needed to do? Let's talk about it and let's figure out what the real problem is. There has to be a reason behind it. And if we can get to the root cause of the problem, this may just be the public health in me coming out. We want to prevent things before they happen instead of understanding the root cause of why these things are happening, versus let's just say, okay, listen, you cheated. You're failed. You're out of here. That's like the worst possible reaction. Give them the benefit of the doubt
and teach them that you can't keep doing this. Most students are very young and learning, and this is part of our role in helping them think through this and learning to use a tool in an ethical and responsible and helpful way, right?
Yep.
And then I see.
Yeah, I even encourage them to share their AI experiences. What are you learning? We're all learning this. How can we share with each other to
And Mark, I'm really going to copy yours. Yours is good.
The most effective use of our time, and how can we improve things? Like I said, I use AI darn near every single day. And not just for academic stuff. There's lots of I have conversations with my Chat GPT because it can do voice stuff for me now with the paid version, and we can just sit there and actually chat.
I agree with you, but I can easily get sidetracked with talking about AI in general. But let's stick to talking about it with our classes. So you encourage them to share. I do the same thing, and I also just find this to be like such an interesting topic to have as part of a conversation. I mean, I'm fascinated by all this stuff. I got to say, it is a little bit nerve-wracking how quickly this is all moving. And I was listening to somebody this week, Ian Anderson Gray, who's thinking about switching gears to teaching more about AI because he's finding that the loudest voices are the extreme voices, the ones who are either doomsday about AI or this is the only way you're going to be left behind if you don't use this. But the truth is, most of us are a bit more in the middle of this. We're very curious. We're very interested. It's not the only way, but it certainly is a great way. And how can this help make our lives better in healthy ways? So I have a whole section about academic integrity, plagiarism, and use of AI. So let's just get to the AI part because, like I said, mine needs some work. So I just make it very clear you're welcome to use AI tools to spark creativity, help you generate ideas, create graphics, or fine tune final edits. These tools can be very helpful. And I explained some of the ways that it can be helpful, but it's not a substitute for your unique experience. So keep your personal voice strong and weave in your own knowledge and insights. When using AI, review and edit your work carefully so your perspective shines through. Document your use of AI by citing the tool in your outlines and noting how it helped you. This way, we can all maintain academic integrity and appreciate how AI can enhance but never replace your own critical thinking and creativity. We'll chat more about these guidelines in class so everyone feels confident and comfortable using AI. So that's as far as I've gotten, and I see yours is a really great.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just like level one. I want to get to a place and be able to talk about these different points that you have here. So I want to put it in writing, but also have these conversations in the classroom with students. Yeah. So yours is much more comprehensive, where you're talking about the purpose, AI literacy. And I know that the younger grades are teaching AI literacy. I want to make sure I'm mentioning this in my classroom as well, talking about AI literacy, expectations and responsible use, accountability and citation, rationale. We do need to share what the consequences are, and encouraging open dialogue. Absolutely. I'm totally down with these sections, and then sharing our experiences. So if you're watching this, please do let us know if you have other thoughts or sections that maybe you incorporate, or if this sparked an idea for you that you want to incorporate and talk about AI. And if you have any other ideas for future content related to AI. I mean, this is a topic both Mark and I are very much interested in, both in our personal and in our teaching. So I think this is a great topic for us, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah, and so just to start off the conversation, I think the next topic we need to cover is how do we adapt our assignments to encourage AI literacy and not have the assignments completed by AI.
That's a great topic, and I think I have a lot to say about that. And I'm lucky because in my classes, it's so much of the content is centered around communication and verbal and nonverbal. So students, even if somebody copied something word for word on ChatGPT, they still have to deliver the content, right? They still have to show up as themselves. So my course builds in so much of that it automatically helps. They can't rely on AI for that part. But I think that there are lots of other ways, and people are getting very creative with what they're asking in the assignment. And the writing part, I mean, the writing is important. We can definitely have a much deeper conversation about that.
Yeah, because for example, my research methods class, one of the homework assignments is to write a mini literature review over 5 different papers. AI is really good at that. You can say, hey, here's these 5 papers. You upload them. Say, hey, give me a concise synthesization of these 5 papers into a literature review paragraph, and boom, it's done. Because it can do that really, really well. And so with academic writing, I think it's a little bit more challenging to ethically incorporate AI. So you have to create strategies on how do you teach them to use AI to accomplish this task, but not do it solely by AI.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, again, just coming back to this principle, like it is your assistant. If somebody is my assistant working with me, I'm not going to take all of the credit for all this wonderfulness that they do, but they do help you. They do contribute. So to me, it's just having a helper with you for every aspect of your life, which is pretty spectacular. I mean, I mean,
as human beings have assistants. They accomplish tasks that are better done or a better use of their time to do the big picture thinking stuff. And so you have an assistant making appointments and scheduling and doing research. I mean, we have research assistants, graduate students and stuff like doing these literature reviews and other things in research. So it's just like you said, another assistant, a collaborator, somebody you can bounce ideas off and things, and
who's available 24/7
in the morning.
You know, they're never tired. They're always around. Exactly, they're always in a good mood. Yep. Mine's always in a good mood.
And I'm nice to mine too. I think we've talked about that before. Yeah, I feel like
yes.
I have to use manners and say please and thank you.
Yes, I love that too.
I'm already humanizing it. I haven't named mine though.
Well, think about it. But I do want to share too that I have made a video on Napkin AI, which helps you create visuals from text, and I teach that to my students because that's a great tool to save you some time creating visuals. And then I have to give a huge shout out to at our university, we have the Institute for Teaching, Innovation, and Inclusive Pedagogy, which is brand new this year. Wonderful. And they have put on so many fantastic workshops to explore. I mean, that's why I attend them, first of all, because I love the stuff. Second of all, because it's a place where I can actually meet other people who are learning about this, other professors who are building this into their course at my school, and just get Tracy Addy, who's the director, has given us so many fabulous resources around this topic, and her team is growing. There's new people now part of the Institute. And there are generative AI fellows at our university as well. So I'm like, wow, this is really good. And we practice tools like I've attended a session on Google Notebook LM, and also learning a bit more about chatbots and how we can incorporate these things into our classes in ways that can be helpful.
Fascinating.
And like helpful and also like really cool. So Notebook LM, Perplexity, there's just so many great things that we can be teaching in our classes around it. But it starts with having a policy in place so that we can communicate clearly and effectively with our students about that. So if you don't have one, like Mark told me to say in the beginning, what are you waiting for? Get it done, folks. We need it. Start to have those conversations, and keep us posted if you have other ideas, comments, or suggestions. Thank you so much for joining us today in the Teaching Test Kitchen, where we're just continuously experimenting things related to teaching. Today, we're talking about making sure that we have AI policies written into our syllabus. So go ahead, take this as your bit of encouragement to start on that or continue, because you might be like me, needing to just make it better if you already have something. And in the meantime, remember to keep learning, inspiring, and teaching with love. See you next time.